One of the best things to witness in local sports is a post-game interview with Mike Joseph and Joe Gavio. Hazleton Area High School's boys and girls basketball coaches just have a great way of describing the game and giving you a glimpse into their programs. Gavio's post-game interviews usually run a bit longer than Joseph's, but every moment is a pleasure. I sat down with both longtime Cougar coaches over the weekend and we talked for a good hour and a half. I have to will that down into a segment for SSPTV's sports show Out of Left Field, and I put together a little bit of a rough cut, so check it out.
You should go first, though, because if I don't go first, I'm not going.
Listen, I babble. Do you understand? I babble. So if I get there, just give me a kick. We don't know what you're talking about. Okay, that's enough. End it.
This is the 25th season of basketball at the Hazleton Area High School, and the men sitting next to me synonymous with the program, going back coaching the two teams, the two programs. Head coach Mike Joseph of the boys team and head coach Joe Gavio of the Lady Cougars. And I had these questions all typed out, Coach Joseph, and I was all ready for this interview, and I knew as soon as I got here things were going to change. And you came immediately, Coach Gavio, with your first story, and you said, listen, not only did I coach Mike Joseph, his dad and my dad both worked as milkmen. So you guys go way back. That's kind of the Hazleton game where you say, I know you and I know your brothers, I know your dad.
Exactly right.
So you guys go really far back.
Sure, we really do. Michael has been a tough player, a colleague, taught right next to me. Like I said, my parents knew his parents, and it just goes back a long way.
You had him as a player. Do you remember what he was like as a player? I read about him a little bit then when he played for Coach Live at Hazleton High School, but what was he like? If you remember, you've had so many players, but do you remember Mike Joseph?
You don't forget a player like that. You do not forget a player like that. Intense, tough, always working. I never passed that playground by the Mile Rocks without seeing him there, okay? He was sent up by a good friend of mine who they used to have a little league there at Arthur Street, John Z. Marnell. So where do you see this guy? And then, you know, as a 7th and 8th grader, he was real tough, and 9th grader, we just gave him the ball. And we're actually, still have a couple plays we used to call Mike, remember, C, clear it out, baby. Just clear it out and give him the ball and let him go. So it was a very tough, very competitor, and teamy. I might say I use that team a lot, but he liked that. He had a lot of friends, still have lifelong friends from that D.A. Harmon basketball team.
But do you remember what he was like in 9th grade? Did you like Coach Gavio when you were in 9th grade?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what you see now is what he was then. I mean, he was a lot younger then, and was just always made you want to get better and made you want to play as hard as you possibly can. He was very intense, you know, grab you by the jersey and get you back into the game kind of guy. And, you know, that was my, you know, basketball today has changed. You know, my son's been playing basketball since he was in kindergarten. 7th grade was the first time I was on an organized basketball team. For some reason, I didn't play PAL basketball, even though my grandfather started it. It was just a time. My dad went to bed at like 7 o'clock. Nobody else drove in my house. I couldn't get there for whatever reason. So 7th and 8th grade under Coach Gavio and his program was my first experience. And for us to be kind of still connected today, we're lifers at this game. You know, we've been at it forever, and I think, again, it's brought a lot to us, and we enjoy it, and we want to just try and make it as enjoyable as possible for kids.
Coach Joseph, who is a Lady Cougar player you liked watching, or you look back on and you think, and Matt, I'm going to ask you the same thing about the Cougar program, but who is a Lady Cougar player you really enjoyed watching?
He mentioned a couple of them. Ashley Grimm was, I just think, like the consummate point guard, you know. Christine Corin was just a tremendous player. I mean, she had the heart of a lion. It was just incredible player. I think if you put her out on the floor with 9 boys, she'd be able to hold her own really well. Ashley Grimm was just, I think, the reason why, you know, she went into coaching for a little bit, and now she's an athletic administrator. She was a tremendous player, very level-headed. Mac was just an incredible player. I thought I really enjoyed watching her for her career. Just played with so much enthusiasm and had no fear. You know, had no fear on the basketball floor.
And how about you, same thing, when you look at that proud Cougar program? I mean, so many great ones this year even, but who do you really...
Oh, it's funny because in 25 years, I mean, there are people who I've played, who I've coached and real tight with, who have come up. like a Jason Hoppy, who got a break. He was a good player, and his mother was hoping. I know the family very well, hoping to just make the team. He ended up really turning into a great, and he got a break. Okay, Chris long time ago. I loved watching Sal Biassi play. I just thought his intensity was it's off the board.
Since putting that together, I've ripped apart the piece and it's going to look almost totally different on Out of Left Field. There's just too many great stories. So check it out as we celebrate 25 years of basketball at the Hazleton Area High School in February on Out of Left Field.